Good afternoon. I'd like to call the June 23rd, 2025 Measure U Citizen Oversight Committee meeting to order. I would like to point out that this meeting is being recorded through Zoom teleconference. Deputy Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Chair. Committee Member Amat.
Here.
Committee Member Banuelos.
Here.
Committee Member Collins.
Here.
Committee Member Kelly.
Here.
Committee Member Mraz is absent with notice. Vice Chair Clark.
Here.
Chair Chanel.
Here.
All members are present with the exception of Committee Member Mraz.
Okay. All right, thank you. Committee Member Banuelos will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will now move to public comment. There is a 3-minute per person time limit for all general public comments on the agenda items. All who wish to speak, including committee members and staff, need to be recognized by the chair before speaking. Please state your name and the item you are commenting on before speaking. We will take public comment for items listed on the agenda. Deputy City Clerk, are there any registered speakers?
Chair, there are no registered speakers.
Okay. We will now move to the consent calendar. Are there any committee members who would like to comment on the consent item for the meeting minutes of May 22nd, 2025? All right, can I have a motion to approve the item?
So move.
I'll second.
Deputy City Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Thank you, Chair. We have a motion by Committee Member Collins, second by Vice Chair Clark to approve the consent calendar. I will do a roll call. Committee Member Amat.
Yes.
Committee Member Banuelos.
Yes.
Committee Member Collins.
Aye.
Committee Member Kelly.
Aye.
Vice Chair Clark.
Yes.
Chair Chanel.
Yes.
That motion passes 6-0.
Okay, we will now move to our discussion item. Can we please get a report out from the ad hoc committee and staff on item 6A?
Sure. Have a,
Adopted.
I don't have a formal staff report or presentation like I normally do. We got
Okay.
together over our preceding break there. Had some email conversations. I know Gene went out and saw Fire Station 3, had some other interviews and such,
Okay.
and that kind of all informed the letter that's in front of you today. So there are some personal discrepancies between members as far as differences of opinion, but it's all about the majority. So that's what's in front of you.
Okay,
So
hey,
there are some typos I'd like to correct before it.
oh, okay, all right, so, okay, so
Sorry.
we have the draft transmittal letter in front of us. Are there any comments from the committee on the draft transmittal letter, item 6A?
Well,
Yeah,
I just wanted to mention I did go to Station 3 today.
okay,
And I can't even believe, I wouldn't even believe it if the council doesn't take a recommendation to remodel that fire station. It's horrible, really horrible. So that was my main concern.
Mhm.
And I think the fire department has the city managers, support on that too.
Mhm. You mentioned typos?
There's just a few, I mean, I
Okay, just,
have them all highlighted here.
okay,
That's it. So,
Who's typing the letter?
well, you get done with it and.
I
come
did
back.
part of it, but.
So, no, just like the letterhead on the back needs to go, just some other personal things, but if this is the final one that needs to be signed, I have no objections.
okay. We have any other comments on the letter?
I did put a graph in there on the pension and a graph and the benefits of Measure U.
Well, I wanted to make a comment about providing these pieces of evidence to the letter is wonderful. I think it's a really good job by the ad hoc committee.
Thank you. Thanks.
And putting everything in there to back it up.
Yep.
Probably one of the most thorough ones that I've seen since I've been on the committee.
Right.
Yeah. It's the most thorough one I've seen.
That's quite a compliment. Thank you.
Do we have any other comments?
No, I just can't believe those fire guys might be breathing asbestos in that station.
Yeah.
Really. It is so bad.
Is it mostly just out of date?
Yeah, it's a house that's converted into a fire station. It was built in 1960. So it has a raised flooring, but they have termites. So who knows what the termites are doing to the flooring?
Mhm.
And then it's got popcorn ceilings. A lot of the windows are single pane windows, so it gets real hot in there. And the fire battalion chief told me that when they come back from a fire, they can't cool off because the air conditioner doesn't cool the place off unless they got single pane windows. And that fire station has more calls than any other fire station. Their district is the biggest. So we need to really do something about that fire station.
In the long term, correct me if I'm wrong, chief, but it's a station that needs to be replaced. And we would eventually construct 2 new stations to replace the one. And we're in the process this year of planning station locations for 6, 7, and 8 down the road. And we know that this is not a long-term building, so while I say that, the city engineer has provided an estimate to the financial staff that it will take about $120,000 of additional money to update the kitchen, deal with the outside wood and trim around the building, and then other needs inside the building. So we've done some work already, but this is additional money that's needed to improve the livability of the structure. So, well, it's never great to put some money into something you're going to leave. This is not the department. We don't have an imminent departure date. We really are in the planning stages for that next station. And so it could be easily 5 years or more. We hope it's not, but the building does need attention. That's true.
Yeah, but in the meantime, it's gonna be like 5 years down the road. It's gotta be comfortable for those firefighters.
Right.
I mean, they can't come in from a fire, can't get cooled off.
Right, we're going to be breathing new life into it. I don't know if windows are included in that. If that was that
That's part of the existing CIP that we have.
okay for the windows.
Correct.
Okay. And while we're on the topic of fire stations, Fire Station 1 has been updated. We do have some contingency funds that are left over from that project.
Mhm.
One of our council members recently mentioned to me that it appears that we've overlooked some of the single pane windows in that building. And in a subsequent conversation with our public works director, it appears that we will be able to use the contingency and we can appropriate any additional dollars needed to deal with the single pane windows there, because that building has some new windows installed upstairs, and it would be inconsistent to have different windows at different eras installed on the same building. Let's get it updated at the same time. So we will be making that adjustment to Station 1.
Okay. Any more comments from the committee on the draft transmittal letter? Okay.
But just wanted to point out,
Mhm.
you know, that we're so lucky to have Measure U because of the pension costs going up. And then we wanted to point out, you know, the benefits of Measure U too.
Mhm.
So like he said, somebody 10 years down the road can look at this and go, oh, hey, look at that,
Mhm.
you know?
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the draft transmittal letter?
Just a quick
Yeah,
question, if there are any specific edits, either the motion should include in the direction to make these modest edits. Or if they're clerical, but we should note what those specific edits are
Yes.
in the motion.
Let's note the edits first.
Mine was just, my biggest one, other than just me being, retentive, would just be striking the heading off the second page.
Are there any others that are glaring that you just? I can tell.
On the last page,
Oh, on the last
Yeah.
page,
no, the circles. That ladder truck or land truck?
I don't know. I don't know. I copied it off the, what they gave us. So I don't know if it's a land truck or land truck.
Ladder.
Oh, it's a ladder truck.
I
Okay.
see it, yeah.
Yeah.
Good catch.
Correct.
Well, you know that AI messed it up.
Any other edits?
I can live with the rest.
Okay, so can we get a motion to approve the draft transmittal letter with edits?
Motion to approve?
I second.
Okay, Deputy City Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Thank you, Chair. We have a motion by Committee Member Kelly, second by Committee Member Banuelos to approve the draft transmittal letter with the edits to City Council. I will do a roll call. Committee Member Amat,
Yes.
Committee Member Banuelos.
Yes.
Committee Member Collins,
Aye.
Committee Member Kelly,
Aye.
Vice Chair Clark,
Yes.
Chair Chanel.
Yes.
That motion passes 6-0 to approve.
Okay, we will now move on to committee member and staff comments.
Oh, I already gave my.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know there was something
Yeah.
at the end.
Are there any additional comments or reports from the committee or staff?
Fire department has a ribbon cutting coming up for Station 1.
July 2nd. I believe it's 10:30. We'll get it in.
Okay. Got it in there already.
By the way, I did talk to the police chief. And he said they didn't really need anything at this point. So
Okay.
I didn't address anything there. But watch, he'll come back later and
He
go,
told me he needs a new station.
Helicopter.
Permanent office.
yeah.
Still here?
So that's why I didn't address anything for the police department. Or we didn't anyway.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
On behalf of the fire department, we wanted to extend our sincerest thank you and the gratitude for this body as a whole throughout the years. We recognize that we could not do what we do without Measure U and the support of this community. And to hear the outpouring of support regarding Station 3 is truly heartwarming. I've mentioned that this is a fire station that's very busy. We run about 4,700 calls a year out of this fire station. And the folks that live there have lived in these conditions for many years. So we're grateful for your support, the support of the city manager, the support of the city council to finally provide a place that's a little bit more, reflective of how we value our employees. And to mimic what the city manager said, the station itself is in a location that's not grown in conjunction with the rest of the city. So we recognize that the city needs a fire station on the farther west side and then farther north and east of the existing station. However, this is likely going to be something that's several years in the making as we develop those plans and get them implemented. So our staff is very grateful and we humbly thank you for your support.
Okay, any more comments?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, there's a recommendation that we need to share with you. Thanks for reminding me, Tiffany. Yesterday, the city council has appropriated and has designated created an ad hoc committee for homelessness. It's been a committee for a couple of years now. And this actually impacts the letter potentially a little bit. If you want to make an edit, we can come back and do that, I guess. But we, as you know, we've had a city net contract for a couple of years now. I think when we first met this year, we mentioned to you that that was on life support because the city was not in a financial position to necessarily sustain a $1 million plus investment with continuing use of one-time monies. We will be recommending, we're going to share this letter with the city council at the next council meeting. At the next council meeting on June 10th, we have a draft budget that we'll be presenting to them. It does not include any appropriations for CityNet, and it does not include any appropriations for housing vouchers, motel vouchers. So those have been reduced to zero. In addition to that, when we met with the council, we talked about transitioning back to a pre-CityNet environment for how we interact with our homeless community and efforts to transition them to exits from the street. So we're going to be deploying, just as we have today, we have the Arrow team, which is the Rocks has evolved into Arrow. The staffing that we have in the police department, once we hit about November, we're going to have, is it 7 officers in academy right now?
Seven.
Nice. When they exit and they go through our field training program, by about November, we anticipate being able to stand up with the existing staffing, an additional Arrow team. So we're at 1 now, we'll be at 2. So that's a transition point that we're looking forward to because that will help the department. And we're going to be presenting this ad hoc committee's recommendations to the council before adoption of the budget next Tuesday. But they're going to be recommending that we transition one of the vacant police operator positions. This is a sort of a lower level position that is not a dispatcher, but it's been vacant for a few years now. To transition that FTE to the position of community solutions specialist. So we have a community solutions coordinator that is paid for by a grant right now. That's Christian Tikas. He's working out of the city manager's office. This position would be a position within the police department that would essentially be a case manager to follow up on the contacts that are made by the Arrow team and to help to resources for these people that have made the decision to exit. To connect them to resources. So, and there's a feedback loop through Christian and the city manager's office. So the distinction between pre-CityNet 3 years ago and today will be that we have Christian Tikas as the community solutions coordinator and the transition of this one position to a community solutions specialist. Additionally, because the police department has growing pains at their station, how many of you have toured our police department?
Yeah, you guys really should. See, I told you that first.
I would recommend we connect you to our staff here for a tour sometime between now and when we start up next year, and we can take up to 3 of you at a time, I think, right? It's a labyrinth. It's been a building that's evolved and has grown over time. So it's sort of like a mousetrap. If you go in without a guide, you may never get out.
Especially in that jail.
It takes a while. We have growth challenges there too. And so there's a building behind Covell, the former library building here. That building on St. John's is vacant. It's the former home of the gang task force. It was involved in some challenging incidents, which our Captain Brock is happy to, spend time with you sharing about. It's an interesting story. But the ad hoc committee is recommending that the council draw down $750,000 plus 750 or 700, $750,000 plus a 20% contingency. We have flexibility to use either general fund reserves or the Measure U reserves, which I believe is it $11 million above the minimum 20% reserves. So our recommendation will be to use Measure U reserves, police reserves, to uplift that building. What we'll be doing is taking a distressed building in the downtown that's subject to vandalism and turning it back into a brand new asset. It's going to need to come down to the studs. We'll have a building there that houses the Arrow team. So you'll have visible trucks with insignia on the vehicles. A half block from Weston Park, which is a good thing, have some presence in the area. It will be a good, I feel so bad for the architects across the street because that's one of the most beautiful buildings in town. And they've had to look at this city-owned building for a while. But this will be an opportunity to put the building back together, move the Arrow team over to that location. They'll have an opportunity for some temporary quarters potentially at the Covell building, but if there are any comments or if you'd like to add any language to the letter to provide feedback on the forthcoming recommendation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In this letter that we just did?
Yes, because this meeting was held yesterday and Tiffany reminded me that we wanted to share this with you today as late breaking news, but that's a recommendation that the ad hoc committee is going to be making to the full council. And we would make it, when we adopt the budget, if the full council was interested in following through on that recommendation, what they would do is ask the staff they would make a motion that includes reference to updating the budget document to include that $750,000 draw plus 20% contingencies. The city engineer is recommending a 10% contingency. We're concerned about the prices these
Yeah.
days, and so we already have done some work. We had a grant opportunity earlier this year, and we prepared a budget estimate, and the estimate was $700,000 at that time, about 6 months ago.
Okay.
So we've adjusted that to 750. 20% would allow us to probably finish the project without having to come back to the council. But that's the recommendation we'll be
Okay,
making.
so how do we put that in the letter? I don't even know
Yeah.
that we
Well,
support
it just
that
happened
or.
yesterday afternoon. So if you would like to amend the letter that you just amended a little bit with edits, you could add you could direct the chair to or the ad hoc to craft a letter or craft a sentence or two that says, city manager shared with you a recommendation from the homeless ad hoc and of investing $750,000 of and plus 20% contingency of Measure U police money into the St. John's city-owned building. And you either support that or have concerns about it
Oh, okay,
or are neutral.
so,
Did you want to discuss how you guys feel about that? Are you in support?
no, I'm supporting that. Anything that's gonna help get rid of the homeless.
You can also comment on,
You know.
you wanted to comment on the decision to not extend the city net contact on.
Well,
You could do that.
that's funny because I pulled up all City Net's reports to see what they were doing and they started out with 342 client, contact. And then it ended up being 1,900 over 2 years. So I talked to somebody that's with AMR, and I'm not gonna mention any names. They said, well, yeah, they have to make sure more homeless come in to keep their jobs. So I don't think City Net was exactly a really good place for City of Hammond to go, to tell you the truth, to put that Measure U money in there. So I'm very happy to see that we're doing something else besides City Net. But
So you're asking the members of the ad hoc committee if they came up with a statement, could they do it? Can they compose it now and we have it added to the
Yeah.
letter as like another paragraph?
Consistent with what I shared with
Yeah.
you, we could work together on updating the letter this
Okay.
afternoon. Hopefully we could do it quickly enough to get signatures
Yeah,
from 2 members of this body
yeah.
and publish that tomorrow with the city council report.
okay,
So would they do this right now? Would we take a break and have them do it and then come back?
You could
Um,
direct them consistent with what we recommended to
Okay.
incorporate that into the letter.
You guys come up with some wording?
well,
So only correct
Well-
me, it's about 3 staff's gonna make the changes.
No, we can do it either way.
we can do it right
We
here,
can do
right
it
now.
together. I mean,
Yeah, we
okay.
do it.
Yeah, I don't have my
Yeah.
computer, so.
Yeah, and I can type it in. there.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
So
suggest the wording. You're the one that. knows
suggest
what
the wording
is.
and
Yeah, just,
Give us,
yeah, suggest the wording in the letter and then read it to us and we'll say yay or nay.
yeah,
Okay.
want to write it up real quick?
Yeah.
we'll talk.
So that's why all the police are here right now. But one of them, because they want that building.
We
No,
just learned that yesterday.
well, that's good because that has been an eyesore and I do like the fact that we'd like to get it back, just put it back into use where it has a purpose to serve the community and it benefits our police department, so they're not crammed into more tight quarters.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's in a good spot where we've had problems for many, many, many years.
I can say for our staff,
Yeah.
we're grateful to have police officers nearby, so we're
Yeah.
looking forward to it as well.
Well, I think one of the biggest complaints about the citizens in Hemet is the homeless.
Yeah.
I'm constantly hearing people say, oh, we got a big homeless problem. Oh, we gotta do something about it, you know? So how to get rid of the homeless? The problem. You have to make it very unattractive for them to be here in homeless, I mean, in Hemet.
Does anybody know what's happening with the empty, I believe it's a church down Latham? Is it called New something? I drove by it today. And I mean, there's weeds and brush from the street all the way to the building.
The old racquetball club.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Years ago, and then a church bought it.
Okay, yeah,
I didn't know the church had left it.
it looks abandoned.
Okay.
I can tell you that there is an organic there's a company that produces organic products that has acquired the building.
Oh.
And they have an application into the city. We're working with them on final details of updating the parking and access, because they're going to have they're going to create a couple of bays off the side of the building. And they've acquired, I think that they've either acquired the parcel next to them. I think there's an enlargement. So there'll be more paving added to the east side of the building, so to facilitate the ingress egress. So the good news is we have a forthcoming business that is a good employer also, high quality family owned business that is looking forward to moving into that site.
I noticed that they're repaving Kirby now too. It's getting repaved.
There are 2 new contracts totaling about $5.5 million that have just been awarded last Tuesday. And so, in addition to Kirby just got done, I think.
Not done yet.
Which part of Kirby?
Well, it's going, my east and west is so bad.
Where is
It's
it?
south of.
It's south of Florida.
In front of the warehouse.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, in front of the warehouse. That's
Okay,
where
I
it is,
haven't
yeah.
driven that recently, but we did do Kirby on the north side of Florida about 6 months ago. Looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Couldn't fund that last quarter mile
Okay.
down to Esplanade, I think.
All right.
So that's a full rebuild on that quarter mile. And it also needs to be lifted because there's water that moves through there. And so we have to lift the street. That's a very expensive project. But the contract that one of the 2 contracts will also be repaving Sanderson between Dominigoni and Stetson. And that's an entryway feature. It also enhances the value and appearance of the business, the value, I guess the business proposition and the value proposition with the city-owned parcel at Sanderson and Stetson. So we're hopeful that a developer, we've received 3 unsolicited offers, and there will be a decision made at some point on which developer to move forward with, potentially. And so we would anticipate a future project on that corner at some point, given the level of interest.
Yeah, I saw that they finally finished some of the striping on part of Park and then pieces of Berkeley. When is, and I did see in the minutes, it was on the agenda to have other pieces of Park Hill taken care of. What about some of the larger stretches of Park Hill that really branch off on Oakland and Menlo? Because those are just horrific.
So what we're doing is we've postponed, we've had a plan to have to talk about a 20-year strategy for our roads, because we really do need a long-term strategy to pull ourselves up out of the challenge that we have with the current condition of our streets. We really did not invest in our streets as the city's finances eroded between, say, the crash of 2008 and about 2017. We didn't invest as much as we could have, or, in the perfect world should have. And so we're paying the price long-term because the cost to repair a mile of street as it decays just exponentially goes up. So we are going to drive streets this summer.
Okay.
About a month and a half or so, with a special truck that's equipped with a camera that analyzes the street conditions. So they're literally going to drive every street, every mile of street in town. It's going to give us a report. It needs it about 2 months of data analysis after this is done. We'll receive a report in about 3 months. By the end of the year, we anticipate being in a joint workshop with the planning commission and the city council, talking about the findings of the report, a current year or current dollar value of the challenge. It was $50 million 3 years ago, so it may be higher today, despite the fact that we've put $30 million into our streets in the last 30 months. We anticipate a number that may be higher than $50 million, given the price of materials. The cost of repairing the streets has almost doubled in the last 3 years, if you can believe it. So we're going to be talking to both bodies about a long-term funding strategy. And we'll be presenting probably about 3 to 5 different options and receiving feedback. There may be some deep and highly involved stakeholder outreach as part of that. And that may be another follow-up to a joint meeting is let's go talk to the community about their interest in and reaction to the various ideas before we come back and make some decisions on where we go.
Make
But
sure.
it's a big issue.
Because we know Hemet Street's falling apart north end, because right now, Station 5, if they have to report to a call, they have to drive around because right there between Charlton and Lincoln, we've got it closed. And then it's truly crumbling between Berkeley and the Ramona Expressway, where chunks of the road are just falling away. So.
Yeah, the challenge, you may have heard me say this before.
It's the
It's
cost.
counterintuitive. You have to take care of, if we're gonna stretch the public dollar as best we can, it's necessary to take care of the streets that we have before they fall over the cliff. And once they go over the cliff, the challenge is those are ones that really should wait until we've maintained all of the others and have the dollars available to tackle them. That does not work in all circumstances, and there will be certain streets that just need that investment regardless. But
because I know that one little chunk of it does have to be rebuilt. Because we have that vacant field that I know years ago, like in the 90s, they were looking at it possibly, it was zoned for residential. And that's when we had our first dip in the housing market, and they kind of stopped building in that one parcel out there. So, and I think the city at that time was looking at the developer putting the funds into really maintaining the streets, putting storm drains in on that side, sidewalks, curbing, everything. So when you drive it, you'll be like, yeah.
I know our firefighters are also concerned about what's the street out of Station 4 that it's Wentworth, right? Wentworth near Warren is in need of some repairs, and we're about to deliver a couple of engines, to that, or a truck and an engine to that location. And we want to make sure that the streets are as good as they can be. So these streets have an impact on the apparatus as well.
And our response times, obviously, if we're having to take alternative routes, it's gonna take a little longer for us to get there, or if we have to slow down because of the road conditions.
And I've noticed also the police department too. Some of them know what space, like, go around real quick, or there goes a tire. So, that road's in dire need of some TLC. It's been needing that for over 30 years, so.
You know what, we were talking about how the perception of Hemet's really bad. People think there's a lot of crime here. My 5-year-old great granddaughter who lives in Menifee, she stopped by my house yesterday. You know what she said to me when she left? Be safe in Hemet. She's 5 years old. I mean, that's pretty sad. Be safe in Hemet.
Back in the day, we used to have bumper stickers that said Hemet is heaven.
Hemet is heaven?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Now it's just
One.
not happening now.
It's hanging outside of his top.
We got it.
Those are the vintage 80 bumper stickers.
What was it?
Shop.
Vintage from the 80s.
Somebody had a T-shirt they were wearing of that on Facebook the other day.
Really?
too.
Yeah.
I would buy one right now, put it in my car.
I think it would help if a lot of people in Hemet started doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
They're real
possibly.
positive about him, saying, oh, it's a great place to live. We just love it here.
Okay,
you know?
so I am ready to
Oh,
read what
okay.
we have. So I just put a paragraph below where it has the fire station, is in dire need of rehab. So it'll read, in addition, the committee is in full support to end the contract with CityNet, who has been providing homeless outreach services for the city and utilize one-time use of police Measure U fund balance in the amount of $750,000 plus 20% contingency to fund the rehabilitation of the property located at 555 St. John's Place for the relocation of the Aero team and personnel associated with homeless outreach and mitigation services.
What did the first sentence say about CityNet?
Getting rid of them.
Getting rid.
Yeah, no, I know you get rid of them, but.
To end the contract with.
Yes.
Oh, in the contract. I didn't hear that part. Okay.
Okay,
Very good.
so
So
the.
should we make a motion to approve as amended?
Mhm.
Did you
Okay.
make the corrections on the,
Yes.
Yes.
oh, okay,
So we would need a motion to approve. that
Okay,
additional language.
all right,
Okay.
so.
And I,
okay.
Okay,
Make a motion.
can we get a motion to approve the draft transmittal letter with the additions about that were brought forth by City Manager Mark Presswich?
so move.
Second,
Okay, Deputy City Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Thank you, Chair. We have a motion by Committee Member Collins, second by Committee Member Kelly to approve the amended draft transmittal letter to City Council. I will do roll call. Committee Member Amat,
Yes.
Committee Member Banuelos.
Yes.
Committee Member Collins,
Aye.
Committee Member Kelly,
right,
Vice Chair Clark,
Yes,
Chair Chanel.
Yes.
That motion passes 6-0 to approve.
Okay, our next meeting date will be determined at a later time.
Are we having another meeting?
No, we don't know. We don't know when.
okay, pizza party next.
We will be.
This is it.
Chuck E. Cheese.
For this year anyway.
They'll let us know when there's another meeting. It has not yet been determined. Okay,
Okay.
well, with there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for joining us today.